When should you start testing new niches? Guys, if you've been on this channel at all, or if you've been following me at all, my advice is always that you pick the I don't want to say boring, but I'm going to say boring, the tried and true, every single time they're going to work kind of niches, the concrete, the tree service, the spray foam insulation, and you do those to start because it removes half the battle. And now you're not having to worry about getting the city and the niche right. You just have to worry about getting the city right. And so the question is like, well, when can we start branching into other niches? Now, obviously you could do that, whenever you want. And when I started, I didn't have the same advice that I'm giving you. I just thought I had to find this perfect niche, and I was trying all kinds of different stuff. I counted this morning, and in a 5-10 minute period, I was like, let me list all the niches of sites that I've actually tried. And I was able to list 39 different niches off the top of my head without even going too deep that I have tested and tried. And out of those 39, man, there was like 8 to 10 that I'm still in or that I would recommend. Okay. So my opinion, and I don't want to go too deep on this because I've done other videos, is that when you start out, you go into the tried and true, you go into the boring, if you will, and go get yourself to a position where your bills are paid for. Your monthly nut is paid for, you're in a comfortable spot, and you have a little bit of wiggle room to start testing some stuff out in case it doesn't work, okay? Get yourself, so if your monthly nut is $6,000, I would get myself to about $7,500 profit before I started going, oh, well, what about that niche? And what about that niche? And let me try golf lessons, and let me try. That's just my opinion. Now, some of you guys might disagree with me, and you want to diversify, and you want to have one here and one here and one here, and you can do that. And if you don't want to listen to the advice I'm giving, and you don't want to listen to the niche deep dives that I'm giving from somebody that's actually tried it, and guys, I share these all the time, these niche deep dives here on this channel, that's totally fine. Some of you guys have to touch the stove to feel that it's hot. And if that's how you are, that's completely fine. But again, in my experience, it's that you can, if you find that perfect niche and you ride it all the way to the bank, that's great. But the likelihood of you finding that before you burn out or before you spend too much money to continue to go is very, very low, as opposed to picking a couple of just tried and true niches, finding good cities. It might take you more time to find the good cities, but you know the niche works. So half the equation solved. Go and get yourself to $5,000, $6,000, $10,000. Your monthly nut's covered. And now we have the ability and the what's the word? The autonomy to actually go and try some of these niches. So that's my recommendation. Once you get yourself to that point. Now, the next piece that I want to just touch on really, really briefly is keep your eyes peeled and your ears open for opportunities to use other people's money to test out niches. Okay. What I mean by that, you have a client in concrete. He's super happy with the service. He calls you up one day and says, hey, I've got a buddy. He does, I don't know. He does epoxy, right? We already know, you guys probably already know epoxy and my thoughts on it because I've shared the video, but he does epoxy. And I was wondering if you could get him leads. Okay. And you look at it and go, man, I've never done epoxy, but yeah, let me talk to him. You talk to the buddy, you talk to the referral. He's already trusting you. He already sold on you. And you're going to go to him and say, look, I can do this exactly how I did it for Tim. However, I have never done this niche. I just want to be upfront with you. And there is a chance that this kind of goes sideways. So I just want you to be like, I want to tell you up front, it should work exactly the same. Might be a little more, might be a little less, but there's going to be that unknown. And so as long as you're okay with it, like this is the price, and you kind of go into it as like almost like a pullback, right? Trying to push the deal away. And they already trust you. They already know that Tim's happy. So it's going to make them want to come to you. And then what you do is you get somebody that's very, very easy to work with, somebody that's expecting that it might not work. And you get to use their money to test out a new niche. You get to test out that epoxy niche you've been wanting to test out using somebody else's money. So what I would be doing and as I'm going, and by the way, if you're using other people's money, then feel free to start testing niches from day one. If you have somebody that's willing to pay you and they know the associated risks, they know that it might not work for this niche because you have never done it, by all means, you could start it today. But what I'm saying is before you start spending your own money and go, hey, that's an interesting niche. I've been thinking about doing parking lot retarring, whatever, right? I don't even know if that's a thing. I would make sure I was at a comfortable spot. I had enough deal flow coming in. I had my monthly nut covered. I had secure clients all under contract. Now, maybe once a month, twice a month, I get to go try that new niche and go kind of dabble in these things. But what you're going to find is that if you do good work, if you provide a good service, your clients are going to be happy. They're going to recommend you to their friends, and their friends are going to have niches you've never thought of, or maybe you have thought of and you've wanted to try, and you're going to be able to use their money to test out your niche. They're going to pay for your education. You have no downside, only upside. This is how and when I would recommend branching into and going into new niches.